Hey everyone, many of you saw my recent video exposing one of the most pathetic grifters I've ever encountered, Ashton Forbes. Well, he saw it too, and it made him big mad. What did he decide to do in retaliation? A number of things that were so hilarious that I had to make another video to share them with you and expose him even further. Let's get started. If you'll recall, at the end of my video, I warned Ashton not to poke the hornet's nest, but wouldn't you know it, the little wiener didn't listen. Apart from breathtakingly insecure tantrums all over Twitter and my channel, he made possibly the most pathetic response video I've ever seen, which will be one focus of this video, along with even more conclusively proving his dumb videos are fake, and also highlighting some really eye-opening behavior of his in some deleted live streams that I was able to track down. Hornet's nest, remember? But before getting to all of that, we really need to take our time going through his social media meltdown in reacting to my first video because it's just glorious. First things first, Bargain Bin Rivers Cuomo was desperate to get my video taken down. Here's the email from YouTube notifying me that a copyright takedown request was received, but that it won't be entertained since my video obviously falls under fair use, just like any other video where people lend commentary to existing content. Check out this wiener's justification for the request.
It's literally all my content in the entire video. I gave you a specific timestamp that is no question my content for several minutes. The video can stay up, but all the revenue goes to me. Otherwise, it has to come down and he needs to remove all references to my content and then re-upload the video. This is non-negotiable. Please facilitate the takedown request immediately. You can find all the clips that were stolen from my content throughout the video. I'll get my lawyers involved if needed, but it shouldn't be required since you can literally see it using my interview with Avi Loeb. Just remove the content or pay me the money he's making off my content. It's simple. Ashton Forbes.
Maybe Ashton should ask his crack squad of lawyers for a quick lesson in fair use since he knows even less about law than he does about physics. Then the public shenanigans. Here's the first in a series of reactions on Twitter.
Wah, Joe Rogan doesn't want to talk to me. All my bullshit is supported by peer-reviewed science that I'm incapable of reading even though I'm pretending it's super secret science that only the government knows about. Anyone who exposes me is a nut job. My fake videos are totally real because I say so, and I'm pretending to not only understand quantum mechanics but also teach it. Is Dave even normal or what?
Yes, Ashton, as I told you in my reply, it is indeed normal for people to expose you for being a fraud who tried to sell fake energy devices for 50 grand a pop. Then he threw around the R word a bunch, called me a Redditor, even though I don't use Reddit at all. He's just mad because smart people make fun of him there, and I was able to squeeze in one more justifiably snarky reply before he blocked me. He can dish it out, but he can't take it, I guess. This was accompanied by a very pathetic comment on my video, which I gave the pin of shame, where he projects his mental instability onto me and then pretends I've failed at all kinds of things, even things I've never attempted, like being a chemist.
I'm right because I say so, you big doo-doo head.
This is also the first of many examples of extreme hypocrisy we get to highlight on his part. Zero hope for a real argument indeed, buddy. This thread quickly filled up with hundreds of people mocking him into oblivion, so he did the only thing any grifter can do. He paid a bot farm to like his comment, which was blatantly obvious, since myself and a number of other people watched the like count go from a couple hundred to almost 5,000 in about an hour and then stop on a dime. Not to mention the fact that he has point blank admitted to using bots for views before. This was accompanied by a bunch more tweets, like this wall of cope, culminating with "the internet is forever." This phrase will be quite poignant throughout the video, so remember that he said this. Here's one suggesting that I should kill myself, some more pathetic coping, and an incel fan chiming in about how nobody will have sex with either of them, more whining about Reddit, even though I don't use it, since that's a place where a bunch of people have proven that his videos are fake, and another massive wall of cope and projection that even pretends to know things about my parents, while one brave soul dunks back. This all culminated with him posturing for his idiot followers with a fake debate challenge.
Gee, how on earth can I get in touch with Dave Farina? Is he on Blue Sky or some other platform? I can't find him on this one. If only I hadn't blocked him. And if only I could find his ridiculously publicly available email address listed in the description of every single video on his channel. He spent a whole 2 days making a video humiliating me, but he'll never agree to debate me. We can do it on his channel channel since he only cares about money, not like me who tried to demand that YouTube pay me the money from his video. Pass it along, minions.
In the meantime, since everyone was talking about how he paid a bot farm to like his comment, he tried to drum up some other engagement and failed miserably, and then paraded his own bot farming with pride, complete with more R words, projection of mental instability, and more accusations of dodging a debate he definitely doesn't want. And in this one too. And this one as well. We can really see what his favorite catchphrases are by now, as well as all the overwhelming projection. He even projects his projection. How's that for irony?
God damn!
He describes his pathetic cult immaculately, and then projects it onto millions of students all over the world who watch my tutorials to pass their classes. How tragic. Speaking of his pathetic cult, take a look at some of these brainwashed fans engaging with these tweets. How is Ashton a grifter when he doesn't sell anything? You know, apart from fake energy devices for 50 grand apiece? Strength and honor, Maximus. We fight alongside you in your quest to scam people. Here's some money, King. Maybe use it to buy a shred of dignity.
Are you guys fucking retarded out there?
But that's not the end of the damage control, not by a long shot. He had to do a special damage control live stream, 0 Point Energy for Dummies. Apparently, people think ZPE is Harry Potter magic, you guys. Except that literally nobody thinks that. It's a trivial physics concept we've known about for over 100 years that is taught to undergrads every day. And I explained what it is with crystal clarity in my video debunking the shit out of you. But why would you muster up a shred of intellectual integrity now? And look at this.
A super smart friend called me and talked to me. Honest, you guys. He said Dave is dumb. It was so awesome and it totally happened. He has 5 patents on a natural phenomenon that you obviously can't patent, just like my buddy down the street who has patents on gravity and sunlight.
If you're one of the fucking idiots out there, one of these fake-ass retarded debunkers, your world is about to end.
Are you ready for this shit? Are you ready for the most pathetic, cringeworthy damage control parade you've ever seen? Let's dive into it.
So, quick update before we even get into this. For people who have been following along since last night, I already challenged the professor, Dave, to a debate, and predictably he dodged like a coward. We all knew he would. So tonight, I want to make sure all his ignorant followers learn at least something about 0 Point Energy since he's been misinforming them for so long.
Still waiting for that email, Ash. You know that's what big boys do when they want to talk to someone, right? And I can't wait for you to tell me what I got wrong about 0 Point Energy. Make sure it's not just you being a science-illiterate moron like always.
Wow. Ashton Forbes is a grifting fraud. Whoa, we're coming out pretty hot out of the gate there, man. Seems like you got some issues, bro. Scott Brando is a scammer and a fraud. The independent group are frauds. He's a literal fraud. Mick West is a scammer, he's a fraud, and he's a liar. Kim.com is a phony and a fraud. We've exposed the Corridor crew as frauds. The Lore Lodges are frauds. Like Mentor Pilot is a huge fraud as well. Jeremy Corbell is a fraud. YouTubers who debunk the videos are frauds. Bill Nye the Science Guy is a fucking fraud. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a fraud. Mick West is a fucking fraud. Jonas DeRoe is a scammer and a fraud. Matt Pines is a complete phony and a fraud.
Yes, grifting frauds like you are an issue for all of society. That's why I expose you as a public service. Sorry if that triggers you, bro. Ashton Forbes is a self-declared journalist. Of course, he's not really a journalist. That's just what idiot frauds call themselves to sound more legitimate.
Wow. I'm not really a journalist? Why is that? Are there some credentials to be a journalist that I'm not really aware of? I thought all you have to do to be a journalist is just report things. In fact, I've done more journalism on MH370 than all the mainstream media combined.
No, you don't need credentials. You can indeed simply report things, like people in Gaza who just point their phones at what's happening so the world can actually see it. That's journalism. You don't do that. You just lie on the internet, so that's not journalism. You've never done any journalism. Cry about it.
Meanwhile, you are somebody who calls themselves a professor to sell yourself as a trustworthy scientific source, when in reality, you're a complete fraud who doesn't understand basic physics and you just read scripts you don't even understand.
No, I taught organic chemistry at an accredited university, and I wrote all of the scripts for the physics tutorials I published a long time ago, which I was able to do since I had to study physics for my chemistry degree. This tantrum isn't very convincing.
Probably that's the same reason why you failed school twice.
Can't resist but jump straight to the slander, eh, kiddo? I've never failed any course or any program at any school ever. But grifters don't need to be accurate, right? Just say whatever you need to spin the narrative you want people to buy. That's your entire identity. Did you need some help from other grifters?
And proponent of intelligent design James Tour wasn't a fan of the
You know that I have not been a proponent.
Yeah, he's gonna play the entire hit piece on me that Discovery Institute commissioned right after I started debunking James Tour, because he doesn't know how dumb that makes him look. What did you find, champ?
You know, I don't have a PhD in chemistry or anything, but I, did work in, I took courses with laboratory components.
Hey, I took courses with laboratory components, guys. That's basically a qualification, right? I took courses. I mean, am I a scientist? No. Do I have a PhD? No. Do I have a master's degree? No. Do I have anything that's relevant at all for teaching? No, nothing at all. But you know what? I need to grift online and sell a whole bunch of fake science to people and pretend like I'm an expert. So I'm just going to call myself Dave because it's a fun little persona to just play pretend.
Aw, I do have a master's degree. I taught at a university, and you have 0 credentials or advanced degrees of any kind. So what's this tantrum really about, kiddo? All the fake science all over my channel that you don't understand? What's fake about this, little boy? What about this? Can you tell me what's fake here? Drop the act.
And so my boss came up to me and he said, look, you got to go teach the lecture. There's nobody here. They offered me the job permanently, but contingent on me getting a master's at the same time.
Things that never happened for 1,000, Alex.
You're not going to find my life history in that category, sweetie. Cry all you want. I taught organic chemistry at an accredited university for 4 years. Here are the syllabi for Organic Chemistry 1 and 2, which I developed and taught, and a Rate My Professor profile. Not too many entries since it's just a trade university, but these were indeed students of mine. And you can see that I have a mastery of this material by watching my organic chemistry tutorials that started this channel 10 years ago, which were just my university lectures delivered to camera from memory.
And found that I really hate it. I really didn't like it.
So just if you're paying attention at home, he dropped out of a small, basically automatic pass trade school course, couldn't hack it there.
No, I taught at a trade university. I studied for a master's at Cal State Northridge after doing a bachelor's at an extremely prestigious college. Wow, how are you this bad at basic comprehension?
I can tell a Nepo baby in about 5 seconds, somebody that has never had a real job in their entire life, and that if they were not raised with a silver spoon in their mouth, they would basically be a homeless person on the street. And that's what Dave Farina is.
Well, we keep talking about the university teaching job I definitely did have, and right after that, I started my massively successful YouTube channel. Nepo baby, you have no clue who my parents are. And what's your illustrious employment history, sport?
There's a literal in-video advertisement for Incogni. Use Professor Dave for 60% off, everyone. Holy shit, how much of an absolute abject hypocrite can you be?
That's called a sponsor, moron. It's pretty common. Your hero Joe Rogan has several in every episode. Is he a fraud too?
That's you being a mentally ill retard.
Also, vindictive doxing psychopaths like you are the reason I use Incogni. They thank you with the additional free promo. Maybe cool it with the hypocrisy talk since you got caught trying to sell fake energy devices for 50 grand.
All that effort making a video about me. You could have better spent making yourself smarter. Think about that. That's why I'm so much more intelligent than you, because I spend my time advancing myself.
Right now, you're spending your time making a 2-hour wine fest of a video crying about how actual smart people are showing everyone what a fraud you are.
Is it fair to call him a mentally ill retard Dave Farina? And I say yes, because I've diagnosed him with chronic dick rider syndrome, where you're a loser with no original content.
No original content, except for the 1,700 plus videos on my channel that I operate by myself. Also, this pretend diagnosis is really adorable, but everyone can tell in 5 seconds that you're batshit insane.
Like he's a mentally ill individual that needs to go seek psychiatric care. Literally mentally ill psychopaths. This is how mentally ill these people are. Turns out your life is a lie. Turns out we have anti-gravitational technology and You were so mentally ill that you tried to debunk what happened to 239 people. So like the people wonder like, oh, you call people mentally ill. Yeah, because they literally are based on their actions.
We will sprinkle some of this mentally ill behavior throughout this video for everyone to see, especially the stuff you've deleted hoping nobody would find. Maybe if enough people put pressure on you, you'll finally get the treatment you need to stop being one of the biggest pieces of shit on the entire internet.
My content is physics and 0-point energy. Dave's content is me.
Yes, because I made one video about you last week. All of my 1,700 plus videos that I've been making for a decade are somehow exclusively about you, especially my 100 plus physics tutorials that actually explain physics concepts, including 0-point energy, in contrast with you acting like a complete psycho and calling it physics. What a narcissist.
Look at the top comment. Oh, look, it's me.
Ashy honey, it's the top comment because I pinned it to the top so that everyone can laugh at you. That's how pinned comments work, dumbass.
The best part is the internet never forgets. 4,700 upvotes. And for the record, none of those are bought by bots.
Yes, Ashton, we totally believe you. You could only get 14,000 views over a whole week on this dog shit response video, at least half of which are people eating popcorn while watching you spiral and humiliate yourself, but you somehow got 5,000 people to like a comment on someone else's channel within an hour and then stop. Evidently, not a single one of them took the time to leave a comment either, huh? Since every single one of these replies is people taking a big dump all over you.
There are very powerful people that are supporting me because they know those videos are real. And so when retards like you post shit like this is the reaction you get. This is called real people. Not the fake bubble that you live in of mentally ill Redditors.
Nobody outside of your cult of incels gives two shits about you, sweetie, and this thing with you and Reddit is out of control.
Redditors are mentally ill. Do not go on Reddit.
It's not normal to hate a website this much.
That's mental illness. You are mentally ill. He thinks 0-point energy doesn't exist? Why am I not surprised that a twice-failed chemist doesn't understand quantum mechanics? Has you ever heard of the Casimir effect?
Have I ever heard of things that I specifically explained in my video about you? Once again, I explained 0-point energy and the Casimir effect and related concepts, because unlike you, I actually know what those things are.
There's a lot of mentally ill people out there that are having a hard time with reality.
You need to pretend for your idiot followers that these are things you somehow discovered and that they challenge the mainstream, which only goes to demonstrate how dumb they are as well. It's hard to imagine intellectual bankruptcy more pronounced than this.
0-point energy has been proven for over 75 years. It's probably older than your parents. You are such an imbecile. Holy shit.
Pretty rapid flip-flop there, Ashton. It was proven 75 years ago and everybody in physics knows about it, but it's super secret science that makes wormholes and the government is keeping it a secret? Again, pick a lane.
They calculated the energy density of empty space to be 10 to the 120. Just because you're a little slow with numbers, that's 120 zeros.
No, I'm good with numbers. In fact, I have some math tutorials that you might want to check out. But you keep demonstrating that you know absolutely fuck all about physics. If you're gonna describe a physical quantity, you might want to throw some units in there, dipshit. 10 to the 120 what? Can you even name a single unit of energy? That would be a fun pop quiz for you, wouldn't it?
I'm a retard. What was that phrase? Oh yeah. You're not even worthy to lick their jockstrap, you science Connors piece of shit.
You don't need to prove what you're saying because the physics is out there, the paper.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't need to build anything to prove to you. Because if you aren't willing to do the minimum amount of research to educate yourself, then why the hell should I do it for you, you dumbass?
Papers are out there? What papers? There are no...
What papers? What papers? How about let's start with the Defense Intelligence reference documents. Like, I go over them pretty much all the time. You have to be a complete fucking retard to not realize that I review scientific papers practically every single live stream.
Ashy, the word papers refers to primary scientific literature, not government documents. You're so fucking stupid that you don't even know what the word papers means. You're clearly pivoting because you know that you have zero capacity to read primary scientific literature since you have absolutely zero scientific education.
Because the mainstream physicists are retards.
Lying about government documents is not science. None of those documents you're referring to tell you how to build wormholes or warp drives or reveal that Lockheed Martin has super advanced technology. Here's one on negative mass. It's speculative exploration as to whether negative mass could help with propulsion. It's all hypothetical. No evidence is given for the existence of these particles. It's just a big bowl of nothing. Look at the conclusion. If it's possible at all, unlikely to work the way we want, and so forth. Here's one on warp drives. Totally vanilla summary of the status of our knowledge of vacuum energy. Nobody knows how to build it, maybe great minds of the future, etc. Want more? Wormholes. Again, a summary of what we know for non-experts, concluding that we have no idea how to do it. Ashton, you complete dunce, this is not scientific literature. That's why it's not rigorous at all. Real science is in science journals. You're too dumb to read those. Want examples of you being a complete moron fumbling some of that?
So it says that there may be a strategy to produce an electromagnetic wormhole, or a wormhole through electromagnetic waves. Based on metamaterials, it could allow for an electromagnetic wave propagation between 2 points in space through an invisible tunnel. Reminds you a little bit of quantum tunneling. And there's a little Jack Sarfati there with the metamaterials.
No, it has nothing whatsoever to do with quantum tunneling. You're just dropping a random buzzword to pretend that you understand what you're reading.
Here we construct and experimentally demonstrate a magnetostatic wormhole. Magnetostatic is an interesting use of terms here because static would refer to a static electricity. So we would be basically saying they're producing a static electric bubble, magnetic bubble.
No, static means unchanging in time. You're just a moron that doesn't know what static means, did some dumb fuck word association to get to static electricity, and are proudly demonstrating your stupidity on the topic. What you're reading has nothing to do with static electricity or bubbles.
I'm a retard.
This is what every fraud does. Ben Davidson, Sabur Ahmad, just flash something official looking, examine precisely none of it, spout a few buzzwords, and then move on like you actually said something.
So let me go ahead and just show the dirds as well. I forgot to show these while I was talking about it earlier. So here are the dirds. I just highly recommend you take a look at them, Professor Dave. My favorite ones are, of course, warp drives. Warp drives, the wormhole one. So there's warp drive, dark energy, manipulation of extra dimensions, warp drive, stargates, and negative energy, and then extracting energy from the quantum vacuum. That's one you probably should check out since you clearly don't understand 0-point energy. Couple more videos I want to show as well that I forgot to bring up.
Wow, very thorough analysis, Ashton. Well, I did check them out, as you all saw, and they don't say anything you're pretending they say.
This is what happens with mentally ill people, is that they imagine stories in their head.
Whoops, see what happens when you mouth off like a little bitch?
Don't worry, I know you're not a government asset. You're not remotely smart enough for that. You're just a complete retard who got passed a fake 200-page defamatory document, and you parroted it without checking any of the facts. Right, Dave?
No, I have no idea what you're referring to. A bunch of people sent me a video of you spewing total horseshit on Jimmy Dore's show, so I watched it and made a video explaining how everything you say about physics is insanely stupid.
There's a lot of mentally ill people out there that are having a hard time with reality.
No conspiracies here, just an educated person exposing you as a loser fraud.
You claim my friends aren't real? Buddy, your whole life isn't real. My friend is U.S. Navy engineer Salvatore Pais, and he called me today. In short, he wanted you to know that you're a cocksucker. That's about as nicely as I can put it. My other friend is Dr. Yu, PhD from NASA. He's too nice, but I guarantee you he feels the same way about you.
Oh, the moron who went on the PBD podcast with Terry? Yes, I'm sure he doesn't like it when people explain how he's completely full of shit. Is your other friend a loser fraud like him too? Do you guys have a treehouse fort where you all get together and whine about how mean I am? Also, maybe get your story straight about experts. Are there experts or aren't there? Should we trust them or not? Are you one or aren't you?
This is why I don't call myself an expert. I'm literally the world's leading expert in the MH370 videos.
We're all waiting for some consistency to emerge from your fountain of bullshit.
Well, you should probably listen to what he has to say about the MH370 videos.
What do you think Trump will do? Because Trump says he'll end this day one. The U.S. pays for 90% of it. I think he can.
He's going to be the adult in the room. He's basically everything from the Malaysian flight that went away. I'm convinced that was a shot at China. Don't mess with us. That's sixth-generation war.
Hey, I'm guessing you don't know what sixth generational warfare is, but you might want to Google it. It's warfare over space and time.
Yeah, I did Google it. It's about AI, robots, and autonomous weapons. Doesn't say anything about your magic plasma orbs and wormholes. Also, some guy rambling on Alex Jones isn't really the paradigm of credibility you're looking for.
Well, you know, I guess I'm not really an expert, but I'd say that's a pretty good chance that the sixth generational warfare that guy's talking about is this. Because that's MH370 in that color FLIR video you're looking at right there. That's literally MH370. The plane that's, you know, still missing right now, that they never found, that impossibly disappeared in 2014, that there's no way the United States doesn't know exactly what happened to it. Yeah, buddy. You're about to experience the biggest red pill you've ever had in your whole life.
Whoa, take me to Zion, Morpheus. No, dumbass, that's not literally MH370, because this is fake. In my previous video, I showed how we know that this is fake very briefly, but today we're going to go all the way down this rabbit hole. A community of experts have been shitting all over Ashton about these videos for 2 years now. Every time they prove him wrong, he makes up some other insane lie to try and keep this angle alive, and every time they just prove him wrong again. Let's get a closer look at this saga so that every single person watching this video can be absolutely positive beyond a shadow of a doubt that these videos are fake. Does that sound good? Great. To start, I want to show you a couple videos posted by Baker's Tuts that will already be enough for 99% of all humans to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that these videos are fake. Once again, they were made using stock footage. VFX experts found the stock elements that were used and recreated the fake video flawlessly. Not approximately, flawlessly. Here's the first one. The Curb Your Enthusiasm theme is a nice touch. My kind of people. Anyway, as you can see, the stock element is shown, all the manipulations enacted are listed with precision, and the result is identical. Undeniably identical. Now for the other one. As you can see, this one uses a still image of some clouds. It was simply flipped and some clouds were copy-pasted. We know for sure it's a still image because nothing moves whatsoever except the plane that was overlaid on top. Not even the water. But we also know this because the original cloud image was identified as a stock image on textures.com. The person who took the photo and uploaded it to the site came forward. Much of this was originally identified by members of a group of VFX experts called Corridor Crew who dissected these videos. Their analysis was shown to Ashton when he was on the Danny Jones podcast. Not to have his entire grift crumble right before his eyes, he enacted some quick thinking and conjured up an airtight rebuttal.
So how are all of those little wave ripples, how are those so perfectly matching what's in the video?
Because all dispersal
and the
patterns,
dots.
all dispersal patterns look the same. This is like saying that my butthole is your butthole because they're similar.
That's right, you guys. It's not a match because buttholes. Well, Ashton, I'm not sure if you've ever seen a butthole, but they're all pretty different actually. Of course, I can't show any buttholes in this video, but they're fairly easy to tell apart, much like fingerprints, and much like different instances of this type of explosion pattern. These ones aren't just similar, they're identical. The ones in the stock asset and your fake video are identical. We proved they're identical. That they could be different is statistically impossible. So if the butthole fits, am I right?
The MH370 videos are CGI. You guys are fucking retarded. They're mentally ill. They're disturbed. They're desperately trying to cling on to the last bit of their worldview, which is collapsed all around them.
Lately, he's been trying to obfuscate from the videos being conclusively proven to be fake by adding a bunch of unnecessary layers and playing detective pretend times. He picked a random former Navy lieutenant named Edward Lynn and proclaimed that he's the one who leaked the MH370 videos because reasons. Gotta pivot somehow, right? So he's spent a bunch of time talking about this guy, trying to contact him and his lawyer, as well as cyber-stalking his entire family. Ashton's such a super sleuth, isn't he? Quick, $10 super chat. Anyway, it's tough to even keep track of all the contradicting narratives he's constantly spinning, but it's never anything but damage control.
Can you tell that, you guys can tell that the middle is not the same, right? Like you have eyes. You guys have eyes? This is literally the one and only frame that's even similar. This is the one and only frame of the stock VFX that's similar.
Yes, kiddo, we do have eyes. That's how we can tell that they're definitely identical. You're just hoping your gullible fans won't go and see the real thing, where they are not only shown to be identical, but the stock asset is manipulated to recreate your fake video in real time.
You're seeing a plasma sphere around these orbs, and what that does is it reduces friction. In fact, they can control inertia. Why can they control inertia? That's probably a concept you're not familiar with. Because they can control the electrons. And what fermions do is they repel one another.
Not familiar with inertia, he says, even though I explained it to him in my previous video, since he doesn't know what it is. Fermions repel each other? Fermions are a class of particles that includes protons, neutrons, and electrons. Do protons and electrons repel each other, or do they attract? What about neutrons? Do those repel each other despite not bearing any charge?
I'm a retard.
How you consistently fumble the most trivial scientific concepts and then continue to accuse educated people of being clueless is just astounding.
Holy shit, how are people so stupid?
Indeed. As you can see, this pageantry has been going on for some time. The videos keep getting proven fake with more and more certainty. Ashton makes some excuse, that excuse is dispelled, he makes some other excuse, and the charade continues.
We're looking at real legitimate footage from Gorgon Stair of MH370. There's no possible way anybody could have faked it. It's 100% legitimate.
This is all he can do. Every time he's exposed, he just does a live stream, spews a bunch of word salad, tops it off with, "We proved the videos are real," like a delusional toddler talking about Santa Claus, and just hopes his idiot fans will keep falling for it. Anyway, back to the meltdown.
So you were trying to make fun of me and free energy and the magnetic motor as well. Do you even know the story about that? It's funny because I could tell that you were just copy and pasting the Redditor 200-page document because you can tell what gets intentionally omitted.
Again, I have no idea what document you're talking about. I was just making fun of you for being a science-illiterate moron who doesn't even know what free energy means, and for getting caught with your pants down on a live stream where you showed a picture of a scam device from 14 years earlier and tried to pass it off as something you were charging 50 grand for. Of course, you didn't let that stop you. You came up with a parade of excuses just like you did when your videos were proven to be fake. Where are you at with that now?
Demonstrate that I'm not just simply bleeding power off the dead battery, which I couldn't anyway because it was basically dead when I started.
Oh, cool. Instead of a picture of the unrelated scam device, you got the whole video of the scam device. That's reassuring. Now that I can see and hear the toy spinning, you're right. This does totally look like super secret wormhole generating zero-point energy plasma ejaculating technology and not a shitty scam device somebody made in their garage. Great work, moron.
And I want to be clear about for the record. The version of the device that I had was not the exact same version, but very similar design. Very similar design. I still have videos of it on my phone, in fact. I'm not going to share them. And the reason why I got out of it is because I was being forced to sign NDAs, and I didn't really feel like selling $50,000 magnetic motors was really a long-term great situation. Started to feel kind of sketchy.
Yeah, you trying to sell a thing that doesn't exist for $50,000 is sketchy as fuck. You stopped before you even got started because everyone immediately found out you're a fraud. The idea that you have a magic device like this but aren't sharing footage of it is about as believable as your girlfriend that goes to another school.
So you know what? Go make another video. I already baited you into this one. Oh, yes. I forgot to mention, I totally baited you into making this video. You can go watch my live streams. I know you didn't watch them. But I was wanting you to do this because you're going to make me famous, Dave. Because you're a guy, you're a moron with a huge amount of followers that doesn't know you just stepped in the worst shit you've ever stepped in.
Delusions, folks. Baited me into making the video? This moron thinks I had ever even heard of him prior to making my first video on him. And I am indeed making him famous by showing upwards of 1 million people what a toxic loser fraud he is. Not really the best publicity, buddy.
Professor Dave doesn't interview with like anybody who's serious, any real credentialed people, because they all know he's a complete fraud and a con man. So nobody's ever serious ever going to talk to him. Meanwhile, I get Avi Loeb interviews. I get Dr. Yu from NASA. I get Salvatore Pais. I get very, very credentialed experts to come and talk with me.
Yeah, you just listed a series of frauds, kiddo. Avi Loeb debunk coming soon by popular request. And pretending that I don't talk to real scientists is just you admitting that you've never watched my channel. Physicists, origin of life researchers, biologists, quite the cornucopia, in fact. And that's not really anything to brag about in the first place, so you parading your list of frauds just makes you even more pathetic. But there are some frauds that Ashton likes to denigrate as well, adorably.
Eric Weinstein and Brian Keene's podcast said he has never heard of Dr. Yu, even though they met before. Similar to Dr. Susskind has done to him. What's your opinion on geometric unity? I have nothing against Eric Weinstein, but he's not even remotely close. Geometric unity is not even remotely close. He's never going to solve anything. No disrespect to him. He has no clue what he's talking about. No clue what he's talking about. I'm beyond Eric Weinstein at this point, way beyond him.
While it's true that GU is absolutely nothing and that Eric is a complete fraud, he could still run circles around Ashton in terms of actual legitimate physics knowledge. Way to go, Ashton. You're such a monumental douchebag that you just made me defend Eric Weinstein.
Let me explain that. Where does electricity come from? Where does electricity actually come from? Who invented electricity? I bet Professor Dave doesn't even know the answer to that question. Tesla did.
That's right, everybody. Tesla invented electricity, a natural phenomenon that has existed since pretty close to the beginning of the universe. Lightning never happened before Tesla made it, you guys. The ancient Greek god Zeus is actually based on Tesla. Jesus Christ, what a fucking moron. Anyway, that's more or less the end of him whining about me, so now let's pivot to highlighting some of Ashton's toxic behavior that he hopes nobody will ever see.
When the shit hits the fan on this, I'm going to be advocating for the death penalty for people that were trying to hide this to the bitter end. For the people that start whistleblowing early on, those people deserve pardons and amnesty. If you're the last person to whistleblow, well, what the guillotine, public executions is the only way that we prevent this from ever happening again. It needs to be a spectacle. We need to like have your families get shamed for generations to come, where it's like, oh, I was part of the Pandolfi family, and the Pandolfi family got ended in the Four Orbs Revolution when it turned out that we were hiding secret technology from everybody and the public got pissed off and decided that your family is going to have a permanent black mark forever because your father was a scummy CIA agent who was preventing the world from having free energy technology. It has to be a spectacle. That's what we have to do. Because we reached this part where the corruption and the cheating and the lies got so bad, it became its own self-perpetuating thing where these people reverse engineered, developed, however they got this technology, figured this technology out and decided they're just better than us. And the only way that nobody can ever think that again is like, it's got to be, when you get caught with something this big, it's got to be like game over, not just for you, but for like your whole lineage. Like the rest of your lineage should bear the stain of your disgrace for the rest of your life, for the rest of their lives, for the rest of your whole family's existence in this universe.
That's right, everyone. The upcoming Four Orbies revolution. Delusions of grandeur much? Ashton is saying that people should be publicly executed and their lineages should be eternally disgraced because they hid a thing that doesn't exist. Have you ever seen anyone more unhinged than this prick? Good thing the internet is forever, huh?
Don't force this upon your friends and your coworkers and your family. The truth is, not everybody's ready to be woken up. When I go around and I meet people, I don't just immediately start talking about the orbs. It's kind of like if and I don't do drugs, and I would never do drugs, of course, but for people that do drugs and they're trying to feel somebody out, it's like, oh, you wait for them to say that trigger word, and then you're like, oh, hey, do you want to smoke a doobie, or do you want to inject some marihooches? It's kind of like that with the orbs and the MH370 videos. When you learn that they're open to the idea of exotic technology, then you can say, hey, oh, have you seen the best videos ever? Here you go. And then you blow their mind with that. If you try to wake somebody up that is still asleep, they're going to lash out angrily at you. And that's what happens with the MH370 videos. So don't try to shock people. We're not in this to solve everything overnight. We're in this in the long run. We're looking for the long run. We want to slowly wake people up to this, wake people up to this reality that's far beyond aliens or anything like that.
Yeah, don't show normal people these crappy videos. Only show them to delusional conspiratorial morons who will definitely fall for them even after they've been conclusively proven to be fake. Take it from Ashton. He knows his fans.
The only way to stop me from talking about these videos is to turn me into a martyr. And if they do that, then I'll probably become an urban legend. And that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
More delusions of grandeur and a messiah complex. The guy is bonkers.
My number one concern is China figuring out how the over Unity device works and then copying it and then kicking me out of the market. That's actually my number one, as a business major, that's my number one concern going forward.
Yeah, kicking you out of the market you said you don't want to be in anymore, even though you never sold any of these devices because you didn't make any because they're not real. You just got caught showing a picture from some other scam device that you were passing off as your own. Good call, moron.
Would you sit there going, where's the body though? Where's the body though? You don't care about that. The important part is we have teleportation and they used it on an airplane. Where'd the people go? Who cares? Who cares? Like, everybody just wants a closed story, and I get that, but...
Right, who gives a shit about the people that perished in this terrible tragedy? Let's focus on some bullshit you made up. Fucking cretin. Not to mention the fact that all the debris recovered from the plane already demolishes his conspiracy even without having to prove his videos are fake. Oh, here's one of the best ones. Ashton once paid $3,000 on a live stream in order to purchase classified information from a self-proclaimed military whistleblower that was promised to prove him right. That's a felony, by the way. What he got was a password-protected RAR file, which just had some random unclassified document in it, a user manual for a drone. he got scammed.
So if you're a debunker, the only thing you should be focused on is trying to unlock the files, because then you're going to prove me wrong, right? Because this is going to be all a bunch of bullshit on all these files here, right? Yes! 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 Holy shit! Holy shit! MQ1C Gray Eagle! Holy shit! Holy shit! Yes! Oh my god, I'm gonna get killed. Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! Whoa, look, we gotta look at the other one. Oh, the password was cracked. The password was cracked. Holy shit. It's the stereoscopic drone video, or stereoscopic satellite. Holy shit. Did I get scammed? I can't tell if I got scammed or not. What do you guys think? If it's the Corridor Crew, please don't be the Corridor Crew. I don't know. Seems like I maybe got scammed. Yeah, feels bad I got scammed. I owe everybody on Reddit an apology. Sorry, everybody on Reddit. You were right. You were right. I got scammed. Yahtzee! Yes! Oh, baby!
Yep, Ashton's dumb videos got proven fake again. Somebody emailed him claiming to have the original files. He pays $3,000 for a file without the password gets cracked, and after an embarrassingly over-the-top celebratory period, he finds out he got scammed. Ashton hates being humiliated since he's an enormous narcissist, so he quickly came up with a ridiculous excuse.
If you think it's fake, if you think I got scammed, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't feel like I got scammed. I don't care what your opinion is. The transaction refers to how I got the files. We had an agreement, and I paid him for something that he needed help with. And in response, I got some files. He already had given me the files, but I needed the password. Yes, I paid him, not for these files, but just for something else he needed help with. As a show of goodwill, so that I could get the, he'd trust me enough to give me this. I'm not going to go into details about how much. It's not really relevant. Not enough that I feel like I got scammed. Let's leave it at that. I don't feel like I got scammed.
We all know it was $3,000, dumbass. We know what you thought it was, and we watched you sink with disappointment when you realized it wasn't. You admitted you got scammed, deleted the evidence, and then changed your story. Good thing the internet is forever, eh, dickbag? Oh, but wait, you also in other instances admit you were scammed when that suits your narrative instead. It's constant whiplash with this jerk. Believe it or not, there are still other rabbit holes to go down with this guy. I only got bits and pieces, but something about him being banned from Pokemon tournaments, he tried to sue his county over COVID stuff, crowdfunded like $10,000 and then just pocketed the cash. But I have to save something for part 3 in case this bozo decides he wants to keep tempting fate, am I right? For now, I think we've more or less milked this lol cow for all he's worth. Let's check in with Ashton one more time.
Ashton, why are you being mean? These people need me to be mean to them. They need somebody in their life to stop coddling them. These are the type of people who have been given participation trophies their whole lives for doing nothing. Right? This is the reason why Professor Dave flunks out of school twice. Because he's a participation trophy idiot. He's a loser and has always been a loser. These people need to be told they're losers and they need to better themselves.
Man, you just wish he would say all of this stuff into a mirror, don't you? The reason Ashton is having a meltdown of this magnitude in response to my video is because he's never had anyone come at him with even a tiny fraction of the toxicity that he puts out into the world. He's used to being the bully, and bullies hate getting bullied. But that's what I do. I bully the bullies. Whoever's beating up on the scientific community, whoever's been terrorizing the internet with lies and science denial, I give them a wedgie, pull their shirt over their head, and punch them in the stomach until they puke up the lunches they stole from the kids in chess club. The hilarious twist with Ashton is that he's actually a gigantic dork who plays with magic cards, so his bullying is very clearly rooted in revenge fantasies brought on by intense social rejection, especially towards women.
Some OnlyFans slut and some thought from Instagram, and they're talking about how many dudes they banged and how many they banged better than the others, whatever.
In any case, whether I'm bullying toxic dork UFO bullies, or fake archaeologist bullies, or grifting flat earth bullies, some people hate me for it and whine all over the internet about it. Dave is so mean. Dave is so toxic. How can he behave like that? Those people are clueless and I have no time for them. Fortunately, most people know exactly what's happening and cheer me on from the sidelines as they watch someone finally giving the bully exactly what that piece of shit deserves. Anyone who can look at behavior like this without concluding that Ashton is both mentally ill and deserves to finally get treated with the same energy that he puts out, I have to question their judgment. This is also a stern reminder of the very real problem that the incel community poses. Since Ashton projects literally everything, even his own projection, there's a real chance that he's a 40-something-year-old virgin. This universal rejection, combined with genuine mental illness, is responsible for what he has become. The whole so-called red pill community is like this. The angry, hateful men that Jordan Peterson sheds a tear for. And they're one huge ticking time bomb of psychopaths.
You're about to experience the biggest red pill you've ever had in your whole life.
Some can be saved, but their heroes and leaders, not so much. So how does it feel, Ashton? You said you wanted me to make you famous. You encouraged me to keep going. Is this what you wanted? Is it really?
He's a fucking retard. I can't wait for this guy to come at me.
Well, it's what you got, and I'm not sure that anyone on the internet deserves it more.
You chose to be a retard. You chose every bad thing that's going to come your way in the future.
Of course, you won't be satisfied until there's a debate, right? You're clamoring for it. Well, you clearly don't want it with me, or like I said, you would have contacted me by now. But maybe you can be enticed by a physicist. Remember Daniel Weinstein, the very cordial physicist that tried to help you understand some science on Twitter, who you repeatedly dismissed like a complete toddler whining about 2 + 2? He has something he'd like to say to you.
Hi, I'm Daniel Weinstein. I'm a particle physicist and a professor at UC Irvine and co-host of the podcast Daniel and Kelly's Extraordinary Universe, where we talk about all the amazing science of our universe, what we do and don't know about black holes, wormholes, aliens, zero-point energy, quantum teleportation, all of the good stuff. I'm so excited that people outside of academia are interested in these topics and want to help figure them out. I've read the Defense Intelligence Reference documents, and I'm not an expert on the Malaysian airline flights, but I've thought a lot about zero-point energy and dark energy and wormholes and how it might and might not be possible. So Ashton, if you're interested in talking to me about these things and having a conversation to explore them together, to learn about the open questions in science and to see what progress we can make, please reach out to me at my podcast, Daniel and Kelly's Extraordinary Universe. The address is questions@danielandkelly.org. Hope to hear from you.
Wow, you hear that, Ash? He's offering you a free tutoring session. All this utter horseshit you're spewing about the zero-point energy, electromagnetism, and all the rest, he can go through the basics with you so that you can stop humiliating yourself. Wouldn't that be fun? I know you're dying to do it, and make sure to record it too. We'd all like to watch. So that's it for Ashton Forbes. Much like other frauds before him, he fucked around and then he found out. I'm not sure he has the stomach to get through this video, and I know his loser fans won't even press play, but maybe we can help them out a bit by disseminating the information in this video far and wide. Until next time.